Everybody, it is Big Mike, the computer dad. My hair's a mess, my office is a bit of a mess, but it is Memorial Day weekend, and we are doing an unboxing video of the Ubiquiti travel router. Let's kick summer off with a bang. We're doing the unboxing video here of the travel router. This is similar in size to the SFP Wizard that I did not too long ago. The one difference being is that the SFP Wizard has a battery and it does hold a charge. It doesn't require being connected to USB-C power at all times, whereas the travel router does need to be connected. It does come with a USB-C to USB-C connector. Just keep that in mind when you're setting this up. As far as the device itself, it has the two 1 gig ports, one for internet source, so plugging it into a source internet like from a switch or a hotel wired connection, whatever, and then out to a device with a LAN port that would be servicing a laptop or PC or something that you're connecting to. It also has the tether port on the bottom, which is the second USB-C port used for a cell phone or other mobile device that can provide additional network connectivity, such as a WAN source. When I unboxed this, I was able to adopt it fairly quickly through the Ubiquiti app. I did this all mobile, connected it to an internet source, and ran through the firmware update. All of this was fairly quick. The firmware update did take a little while, but relatively fast. The one thing I want to call out that is a unique feature of this versus other travel routers is the fact that you can bind to site with minimal configuration requirements, meaning if you really don't know what you're doing to create a client-to-site connection, you're binding this to your home Ubiquiti setup. If you have a UDM or another edge device that they sell, you can create that teleport link, which is a client-to-site VPN connection from your travel router back to your home network. What does that do? That creates an extension of your home network wherever you're traveling. So you can connect devices downstream from your travel router that can communicate, depending on your firewall configuration, back to devices on your home network. That's a big advantage. Really simple to set up versus the GLI net, which would require additional configuration to establish that communication back to devices at my home network. In addition, you have the ability to downstream connect this as its own Wi-Fi network. So let's say you didn't want to extend one of the home networks that you've already had established as a wireless network off of the travel router. You can take a source wireless network, a source wired network, or a tethered network, one of those three options providing the WAN link to the travel router, and then configure your own Wi-Fi, whatever you want that to be, downstream. All that is doing is providing you a controlled network downstream that you configure. You'll create the SSID, you'll create the PSK, depending on how you configure that wireless network, and it'll effectively double hop out your source internet. And that's just going straight out to the internet. That's giving devices downstream wireless connectivity, or in the case of the wired port, wired connectivity. You can connect physically into a NIC using a Cat6 cable, for example, a Cat6 Ethernet cable. All of this to say is that it is a sleek design. It is a very simple setup. Doesn't require much. This could fit in your pocket, and just like with every other appliance, even the SFP Wizard, I recommend a hard case. I recommend caring for it. Be gentle. It does have that little travel lanyard loop in there. Mileage may vary, but I would recommend, just because the LCD screen and all that niceness, to try to keep it safe and secure. This device does get a little warm, so be mindful of that. If you're carrying it around, it's hot to the touch right now. Not hot to the touch, warm to the touch right now, as I'm connecting and testing out the wireless features. But overall, I think this has promise, really, for those that are connecting to a Ubiquiti network back home. Do I think it replaces things like the GLI net? Not necessarily. I believe that if you don't have a Ubiquiti infrastructure back at home, the GLI net's still a very, very good travel router. In fact, they're coming out with the tri-band Wi-Fi 7 travel router soon. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. I was waiting around for this. This was a hot button item that I was seeing pop up on the Ubiquiti page, but kept getting scooped up really quickly and then showing up on eBay at like 10x the cost. I wasn't that hot for the travel router, but I did have an alarm go off for the Ubiquiti site when it became available, and got lucky that I could snag one and test it out. I plan to keep it with me and connect back. I have a few trips coming up, so I want to test it out in the field, teleport back to my home network, make sure I set up the appropriate firewall rules, and see what that experience is like, being able to extend my home Unify network. I really think that that's a cool feature that you can play around with. I realized my lights went out. That's no fun. Turn those back on. Gotta be festive here. I have a timer in my Govee settings. Govee lights, also a really cool thing that maybe one day I'll do an unboxing for. But anyway, I'm rambling. Very cool product. I think it's worth the $80 that you're going to pay for it if you have a Ubiquiti environment. Even if you don't, it's a cool travel router to set up. You can still set it up just like you set up any other travel router, like the GLInet that I did an unboxing for. All of that, still the functionality is still there. Go out and get one. See what you think. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've done anything cool with them. I still plan to do a bunch of stuff. This was a very simple, straightforward unboxing video. And I plan to do more with it, especially with the wired configuration. I have over to my right I think it's like a 5U, 6U, 10-inch rack that I'm going to be building up. It's going to have one of my Ubiquiti 8-port PoE switches in it. And I'm using that for a Proxmox cluster. I'm going to be building that and doing the whole setup video and all of that stuff. But I plan on using that also to connect ports directly into devices like this to test out what that experience is going to be. Create a mock remote network, if you will. Plug it in, wrap the WAN port into that, wrap the LAN port over to my laptop, and see what that experience looks like. What kind of speeds am I getting? All of the network I have at home is just 1 gig. Just see what that looks like. See what the speeds off of the Wi-Fi look like. Is there anything you might want to tune or consider? All fun stuff I plan to lab and hopefully get a couple videos out of. If you have any questions, let me know. As always, I appreciate any feedback on these videos, on the unboxing, anything you might want to see from this or see some testing of. All ears when I can get to these videos. I try to. I appreciate any likes, any follows, any subscribes. You're all the best. Hope everyone that's watching this, if you're watching it during the Memorial Day weekend, you have a wonderful and safe and happy holiday weekend. And if you're just watching this from afar or in Europe or wherever you are, I hope you're doing great. I wish all the best for you, and I appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.